That sounds like a nightmare. Oh, here we go. The cover do be serving. It's tiny. Nope. Living as a human being sucks. Collecting severed heads in his closet. I think this is supposed to be really good. The cover's a 5-star. Oh boy. I think this is gonna rock book club's world. Hi, I'm Sam. There's quite literally no one asking me to do this, but I want to tell you about all the books that I plan to read this summer. So this isn't an all-encompassing list. These are just the books that I think are going to be God tier. So you probably clicked on this wondering what constitutes a God tier book. So these are all books that I want to read this summer that I think are going to be, if not 5-star bangers, like as close as you can possibly be to a 5-star banger. So the first one that I would like to read is The Hellbound. So the concept is that a person could receive a notice that they are going to hell. So it'll be a notice with their name, how much time they have left, and then basically like, hey, just so you know, heads up, you're going to hell. And then when the time counts down to 0, mysterious creatures manifest to condemn you to hell. So it's like spooky, scary guys come and literally drag you to hell. I really like that concept. That concept is very interesting to me, and I also didn't know that it is becoming or already a Netflix series. So if this is good, maybe I'll check that out. Yes. Okay, next is one that I think I've actually featured on a previous TBR video, maybe like late 2022, and I just never got around to it, partially because when I got it from the library, it was a hardcover, so I was able to find a used paperback version of this book, and that is Mother for Dinner by Shalom Auslander, and it's actually this like kind of cool special edition, so it has like a fork and knife painted on the edges of the pages. So this is the story of a family of cannibal Americans, and when their mother dies, all of the children gather to dispose of the body in their traditional manner, which is to eat the body. At the heart, I think this is really an exploration of like a quirky, weird family, and them being cannibals is just this funny, absurd way to explore family dynamics. I think it's gonna be really funny and really poignant, so high hopes. Next is one that I actually found in my manga bookshelf organization video, where I went and sold a bunch of DVDs, and then of course with the money I got from that I also bought some stuff. So I picked up this short story collection mostly because of the titular story. So that is The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Gilman. This author is best known for the 1892 title story of the collection, a harrowing tale of a woman's descent into madness. So I think that The Yellow Wallpaper is about a woman who is experiencing postpartum psychosis. She's like not feeling like herself after she gives birth, so her husband shuts her away into this other room in their house and kind of like has her do some isolation. The wallpaper drives her kind of crazy, and I think the whole thing is like, yeah, she's kind of like having a psychotic break. So very excited to read that. I think this is also going to be an easy 5-star banger. Next is another one that I got for my birthday. So that is Found by P. Rigney. This is about a 5th grader named Marty. He gets good grades. He's like a good, stand-up citizen, but the kids at school won't stop picking on him. His family is kind of chaotic, and his older brother is collecting severed heads in his closet. I think this is going to be kind of towing that line between scary and funny, which I'm finding is kind of my niche. If it's not trying to be like an outright horror story, then I don't mind a little bit of hilarity in my books. So yeah, it says, join Marty as he attempts to find himself amidst the chaos of his everyday life, where severed heads roll like bowling balls and horror movies might just save your life. Sounds fun. Next is one that I've been wanting to get to for a while, and now that I read something else by this author and loved it, I'm even more eager to get to it. So that is Made for Love by Alissa Nutting. Read Tampa by her recently, and oh boy, I have some thoughts. I will definitely talk about that more in my May-June wrap-up, but let's just say Alissa Nutting is definitely going to be one for me to watch moving forward. So this one is about a woman named Hazel, who has just moved into a trailer park for senior citizens with her father and Diane, which is his extremely lifelike sex doll. Obviously not really loving life with this setup, but she's just ran out on her marriage with this CEO who was really controlling. He had wanted to wirelessly connect the two of them via brain chips in a first ever human mind meld, which bro, that sounds like a nightmare. Her husband's threats become more and more sinister, and Hazel is forced to take drastic measures in order to find a home of her own and free herself from Byron's virtual clutches once and for all. Yeah, that sounds good. And this cover, it really screams summer to me, so I hope it's good. I think this is gonna be pretty funny. Okay, next is one I just picked up in my Seattle vlog. So that is 7 Empty Houses by Samantha Schweblin. I have read 2 Samantha Schweblin so far, loved both of them. And basically, if this is like another fantastic book, Samantha Schweblin is going to be a new fave author for sure. So I think this is technically short stories, but the short stories are all interconnected. So like in my mind, not as much of a short story collection. The 7 houses in these 7 stories are strange. A person is missing, or a truth or memory. Some rooms are enticing, some unmoored, others empty. So yeah, I think it's gonna be twisty, turny, weird, spooky, funny, any or all of the above, because Samantha Schweblin is really good at that. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Okay, and then all of the rest of these are library books. So like, not to brag, but my library is fantastic. Just saying, guys, use your libraries because they're freaking cool. Oh, someone left their bookmark in here. Another person was here. Okay, Sam, what's the book? Let's talk about the book, Sam. All right, so this book is You Should Have Left by Daniel Kehlman. So this is a German novelist translated by Ross Banjamin. And it's a little shorty, you know, he's small. It's tiny. I don't know why the size matters, Sam, but anyway, it's a shorty. It's like a little novella. And I think this is supposed to be really good. This is supposed to be pretty scary. I like a book title that is like a threat too. Like, you should have left. Oh, here we go. Okay, so it's basically this family goes to this cabin in the woods in Germany, and it says the house thwarts the expectations of the narrator's recollection and seems to defy the very laws of physics. So the dad is trying to finish a screenplay for a sequel to a movie that launched his career. His wife's there. His 4-year-old daughter's there. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen to the 4-year-old daughter, you know? That kind of thing. I'm very, very excited about this. I love a haunted house story, especially when it's like, who's haunted here? Is it the house that's perpetrating you, or are you like projecting onto the house right now? Do you just have some unresolved issues, sir? This looks promising. Looks promising, guys. I'll let you know. Okay, next is one that I've seen bouncing around social media, and the cover is just great. So that is Panenka by Rónán Hession. So he's an Irish author who I've never read anything from, but this cover, bruh. The cover do be serving. This is about a guy who is nicknamed Panenka. He has spent 25 years living with the disastrous mistakes of his past, which, like, haven't we all? And he's like in exile in his hometown. So now he's 50. He is trying to rebuild his life with his estranged daughter and her 7-year-old son. But at night, he suffers crippling headaches that he calls his iron mask. And then he meets this woman named Esther, who has come to live in the town to escape her own disappointments. And then I think together they kind of like commiserate and like how miserable they are and like how much the world and living as a human being sucks. So I'm looking forward to that. The cover's a 5-star, you know? If the story is even near as amazing as this, then I think I'm in for a good time. Okay, next is one that I actually found because of the YouTube channel Maybe I'll Read Today, and this one just intrigued me immediately. So that is Walking Practice by Dolki Min. Again, the cover is like, bro, these authors are really like, I need my cover to serve as much as possible. So this is from a South Korean author. It says it's about an alien's hunt for food that transforms into an existential crisis about what it means to be human. Part psychological thriller, part searing critique of the social structures that marginalize those who are different. The alien shifts their gender, appearance, and conduct to suit a prey's sexual preference, then attacks at the pivotal moment of their encounter. They use a variety of hunting tools, including a popular dating app, to target the juiciest prey and carry a backpack filled with torturous instruments and cleaning equipment. So maybe this will be like a funnier version of Under the Skin. Did you guys ever see that movie? Personally, I didn't love it, but that sounds very reminiscent, so I will be reading this. Okay, next is one that's a new release, and that is May Fly by CJ Lee. This was in my most anticipated books of 2023 video, so you already know I'm very excited about this. So this is supposed to be gory, brutal, beautiful, painful, terrifying, a pure delight. And that's all according to Stephen Graham Jones. Okay, so we're following this woman named May Fly. She works at the happiest place on earth, so like Disney. She's a misanthropic little lady. So she meets Gideon Green, who is her best friend's brother, and he awakens something dangerous within her, and the world she knows suddenly shifts beneath her feet. So I think this is supposed to be like a female American Psycho, except at Disney World instead of New York City. Sounds good. Okay, next is one that was actually a book club pick. So my sister chose this for book club because her and I both equally love to be as chaotic as possible. When she like dropped this in the chat to be like, this is my pick for book club, she was mostly just wanting to stir the pot, which like, I can't even fault her. But I think this is gonna rock book club's world, either in a good way or a bad way. So that is House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. I mean, I'm sure you've heard of this book. First of all, it's big. She thick. and people say this is like the most disturbing book they've ever read. This is a like full color edition, so when I try to look at the synopsis, it's just saying like, this is the new edition of House of Leaves. It doesn't really have the synopsis, but I'm kind of just gonna go in blind. But I think it's supposed to be very chaotic, very confusing, kind of a slog to get through. So we'll see how strong I am, if I can do it. I think at some points you're supposed to like turn the book upside down and read. I think it's like a very 4D experience, so to speak, you know, it breaks the fourth wall. So we're gonna do it, we're gonna try. I'll let you know if this like decimates book club. And then lastly, we have a sequel in a series I just started recently by Shintaro Kago. So that is Dementia 21. I wasn't expecting to necessarily love his point of view, but his point of view is actually much funnier than I thought it was going to be. And his art style is just very surreal. It reminds me a lot of the show Aeon Flux. I don't know if you guys ever watched that. It was on like MTV in the 90s. Not so much in content, but just how each episode, there was like an element of absurdity to it. Sometimes the main characters died at the end of the episode, but then in the next episode they would just be back. That kind of energy sort of reminded me of Aeon Flux. Okay, those are all the books I want to read this summer. This is my god tier TBR. I think all of these are going to be 5-star bangers, and if they're not, I'll tell you about it. So, thank you so much for being here. You can like this video if you want, comment, subscribe if you want. I would love to have you. And let me know what you're reading this summer. Have you read any of these books? Do you want to read any of these books? What are you currently reading? What are your 5-star reads? Would love to hear all about it. Love you guys. Peace.